to NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner. And with me today is Dr. Elsie Lands, Senior Director of Student Support Services. Welcome to NPS Now.
Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you. It's back to school time. There's a lot of preparation going on, especially through your department. Tell me, how do Student Support Services support our parents and our students?
There are many different things that we're doing in the Department of Student Support Services to prepare for the start of school. One of the most important roles that we play during this time is dealing with enrollment. And so we handle out-of-district transfers and other matters related to making sure that students get into school and are ready for school when it starts in just a few days.
So you mentioned out-of-district transfers, and that is important. I know throughout the year you may receive many of them. How do you handle the out-of-district transfers? What's the process?
The process is that parents have an opportunity to submit an application, and we review the application and make a determination on an individual basis about the reason requested for the transfer. And so we would hope that every parent and student consider the school that is their zone school, but we realize there are circumstances that warrant a parent making that request to go to a different school within Norfolk. And so they submit an application, we review those, and then provide a decision based on the information that we've received.
Now, is there a deadline or time period when you can fill out an out-of-district transfer, like the beginning of the school year, you need to do it by this particular date, or throughout the school year?
The deadline, or the time for parents to submit an out-of-district transfer, has passed. That time frame was during the month of July, and so we received most out-of-district transfers during that time. The other opportunities for parents to submit out-of-districts are for parents basically who are new to Norfolk, so families who are new to Norfolk, or if there are other extenuating circumstances. But the main open period would be during the month of July.
So what are some other ways that, you mentioned earlier that your department's preparing for back to school?
There's so many different things we do related to security and making sure that our staff members are trained and have updated information related to ensuring that our students are safe in school. We're responsible for counseling and the school psychologists and social workers, and so making sure that we have support services available for them through those areas. We handle wraparound services and make sure that we have things in place so that if there are additional pieces of support that students and families might need, then we have staff members to assist with students transitioning, within the school district or coming in from other schools as well.
What are some of your wraparound services that you provide?
What we do with the wraparound services piece is we look at if there are specific needs that a student may have. So our positive behavioral interventions and support framework, we work within that to work with community agencies as well as with staff members across the district if there are additional needs, things beyond the academic perspective that students might need. If there are counseling type services, if there are services within the community related to health and other matters, we help connect them with staff members within the district, but we also provide information related to services outside the district so that students can have everything that they need to be prepared and be successful in school.
And I know another category that falls under your department is mentoring.
Yes,
How
definitely.
does that program work?
We have a mentoring initiative, and each school has a mentoring coordinator, and so we're very excited about that opportunity. And eventually we have a goal that we hope that every student has a chance to access a mentor within the district. And so we work with the mentoring coordinators at the school. We have a district mentoring coordinator, and we work with individuals and organizations across the community. We're always looking for new mentors, and so we ask that they contact our office. We have information available on our website as well, but we want to make sure that every student that needs the additional support of a caring, positive adult, that they have access to that through our schools as well.
Right. If I asked you to list everything that your department does, it would be a very long laundry list. But you've also had the opportunity to have school nurses now fall under your department.
Yes, we do. We're in the process of transitioning the school nurses into our department and into the district, and so we have a number of them that have already been hired within Norfolk Public Schools. And so we continue to have a very active partnership with the Norfolk Department of Public Health, who works with us in terms of school nursing, but we do have nurses that work in our schools throughout the district, and we're very excited about the opportunity to work with school health and that particular piece in our department as well.
And that's new. That's something new.
Yes, it is. We've been working more directly with the nursing program over the last year, and it's a a program or a piece that will be phased into the district. So eventually all of the nurses will become Norfolk Public Schools employees. And so currently we have nurses who are Norfolk Public Schools employees, city employees, as well as nurses through the state. But they all work within our schools.
What are some things that parents need to know about your department and how to prepare their children for back to school?
One of the most important things, I think, is knowing how to contact us in the Department of Student Support Services, and so they can reach us at our number at 757-628-3931, and we have a number of staff members who are ready and available at all times to make sure that we can answer questions related to the areas that I've mentioned, but also if they need support or guidance in terms of finding other agencies or ways to connect within the community. And so we want to do everything that we can to support children and make sure that they're ready on the first day, but also to make sure that they're prepared and ready throughout the school year. And so as different needs arise, we have administrators and support staff members to support them in all of the areas that we mentioned, as well as a number of others. And so we seem to be sort of a one-stop shop type office, but we're here to support students and families in any way we can.
And very multifaceted. You know, you range from school nurses to code of conduct, which leads to my next question. What are some important documents that parents need to pay close attention to the first week of school?
I would say definitely the Code of Conduct or the Student Conduct Handbook. That document provides all sorts of information related to, as the title suggests, conduct and behavior in our schools. And so it's a wonderful resource that will provide information about expectations for students and how parents can assist students and ways that students can be supported in terms of behavior within schools. So I would say that's a wonderful resource, and it will be available to all parents at the start of the school year, as well as will be on our website. And so it should be something that every parent and student should read and that parents should discuss with their children as well.
I know I had to read it as a parent and I had to sign it. So I guess we want to stress the importance of parents reading it and signing it.
Right, reading it and signing it and having discussions with their children about the contents of the document. And they will submit that information to their schools, but they will also have conversations in schools about the importance of the document and making sure that everybody is behaving appropriately and that our learning environments are conducive to making sure that students are successful.
So if parents have any additional questions or want to know more information, they can call you, they can go to your website. But where are you located, just in case if a parent says, I want to come speak to someone face to face?
Yes, our main office is located in the School Administration Building at 800 East City Hall Avenue, and we're in Suite 904.
Suite 904. Great. I wish I could list all of the services that you provide, because I even know that students, from what I remember, if they want to apply for a job or get school records or student records, they come to your office too?
Yes, we handle student records. We do work permits, all sorts of different things to make sure you know, that students are prepared for whether it's work, health type things, records, all sorts of things. Yeah.
And 8 to 4:30?
Yes, our hours during the regular school year are actually 7:30 to 4:30.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Dr. Lands, for coming on the show and giving us a quick peek at what Student Support Services provides. And if parents want to know more information, they can go to your website or call you or stop by the office for more information.
Yes, thank you very much.
Great, thank you. We want you to stay tuned for more NPS Now. Earlier this summer, I spoke with Helen Phillips from School Nutrition, and she talked about our summer feeding program and this upcoming school year in school nutrition. Welcome back to NPS Now. With me now is Helen Phillips, Senior Director for School Nutrition. Helen, welcome to NPS Now.
Thank you, Karen.
You are having an exciting summer with feeding students here in Norfolk Public Schools. Tell us about your summer feeding program.
Yes, we are having a really exciting summer. This is our third summer that we have sponsored the summer feeding program, and we've grown every year. So this year we have 61 sites open across the city. 37 of those are schools, and then the balance are different camps and churches and community programs.
So where did you get the idea to feed our students throughout the summer months?
The summer feeding program is another feeding program sponsored by the United States Department of Agriculture, and for many years we were acted as a caterer to the city for their program. And then 3 years ago the sponsorship changed from the city to us, and so we have been able to grow it in our schools and then further into the community.
So this is your first year doing this?
Third year.
Your third year?
Yes.
Wow. How many students are you feeding every year?
We feed about 7,000 students a day. It's maybe a third or a little bit less than a third of our normal school day during the school year. So we're reaching a lot of kids, but there's lots of room to grow too.
Well, with 3 years worth of summer feeding programs, you were recognized recently for your efforts. Tell us about that.
Yes, the Department of Health is the state sponsor of the summer feeding program, and at the end of last summer they recommended us for an award because of our increase in the number of sites that we have in just 2 years. So in June we were honored with our award from the United States Department of Agriculture for our increase in number of sites for our summer feeding program.
So who actually gave you the award? I know the First Lady came.
Yes, Mrs. McCullough, the First Lady of Virginia, came in June, on June the 5th, to Coleman Place Elementary. It was a national kickoff for summer feeding, and she presented the award to me at that time.
So what are some of the feedback from some of the parents and the students who are participating in the summer feeding program?
It's been a great program for us. We're able to reach a lot of students. A lot of parents walk with their kids over to the school and sit with them while they have their meal. It's also helped us to grow great relationships between the community and school nutrition, and then the school as well. So we're happy to be able to do that, especially in our school sites. And then again, we have other sites that we also are feeding kids around the city. Those include rec centers and camps and churches and other community groups. So it's a great way for us to reach out and hit a lot of kids.
How many staff members does it take to put on or do this type of effort?
Gosh, I'm not even sure if I've added them all up. Not as many as it does during the school year. A lot of our sites operate with just one manager working, and then some of the larger ones have two. Then all of my staff in the nutrition center is here working this summer too.
Knowing the ratio of our free and reduced lunch students, why do you think this is so vitally important for them to have this summer feeding program?
Yes, the City of Norfolk has about 69% of our students qualify for free and reduced price meals. So knowing that number, it does indicate that we've got a lot of kids that maybe in the summertime don't have as great of access to meals as they probably should. So we are excited that we can provide breakfast and lunch at most of our sites, free to the kids in the community, so that they can have good nutrition throughout the summer and not have to be hungry until school starts in September.
Wow. And so during the school year, is there like a backpack program that we have for our students?
Yes, during the school year we work in conjunction with the Food Bank of Southeast Virginia, and we deliver backpacks. We pick them up from the food bank and then take them to particular elementary schools, and then the elementary schools hand out backpacks for kids to have food over the weekends.
So this helps us because we're not doing that, so now we're feeding them through the week, and so that's awesome.
Yes.
That's
yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
So you think the parents are happy about this?
I do. I think the parents enjoy the program too. We've had a couple of parents, aunts, even grandmothers that will call sometimes and say thank you or ask us where to go to get food for their kids. So it's a great program. We've had some of them will gather up kids in the community and just walk over, with 3 or 4 kids, not even their own kids, but just bring them over to a site to have a meal.
That's great. So you were also recognized again, and you made a special trip to the White House.
Yes. At the end of May, I was asked to attend a roundtable with First Lady Michelle Obama regarding the nutrition standards for school meals. And that is something that we've worked very hard with here in Norfolk. We were sort of ahead of the implementation of the rule, so that when it was finally officially implemented in the 11-12 school year, we were already there. And so our kids really didn't see a big change in what we were offering on the menu, and therefore we've been very successful. Unfortunately, across the country, there are other school districts who have not been as successful as we have been, and they've met some challenges. Some of it to do with not planning ahead like we did, some of it to do with just kind of attitudes, and some of it to do with availability of food items for them. So I was asked to come to the White House and to speak with the First Lady to talk about our success and to talk about how we were able to get the good results that we have.
So what were her thoughts about what we're doing here in Norfolk?
Of course, with having 2 young children herself, she is definitely in favor of great nutrition for kids, good physical activity, and of course she loves when she can hear success stories such as ours.
So we're trailblazers here in Norfolk.
Of course we are.
Now, do you serve on any boards or commissions dealing with school nutrition?
I am the past president of the School Nutrition Association, so that kind of means that my time there is done. But currently I'm working with the American Heart Association and part of their grassroots and working with the reauthorization of school nutrition programs. We, every 5 years, school nutrition has to go to Congress and get our programs reauthorized, and that's when rules can sometimes change for us. So I am going to be working on that for 2015.
Great. And so how long have you been with us here in Norfolk?
22 years I've been
22
working,
years.
yes. I've been the
Wow.
director of school nutrition since 2011, but I started as a supervisor 22 years ago.
Wow, and you were definitely a champion for school nutrition for us and having us recognized on the national level for school nutrition. So tell us, what's coming down the pike in school nutrition for the fall?
We're excited about next school year. We had a great menu last year, so we've made some little tweaks to that, and so we're excited about the new things that we're bringing. We are always looking for new items. We've just returned from our national conference last week, and so we were able to see new items that were being out there from the manufacturers. And so we do limited time offers every month in our school where we have the opportunity to try something new, to try new trends, to try something completely different, a new flavor profile for our students. So we're excited about next school year.
So we should be ready for more taste tests.
Absolutely.
Which are great, and I think the students enjoy them. And I think it's great feedback for you all, too.
Yes, we like to say that we have a student-approved menu because we do taste test as often as we can with our kids. We have new recipes for them to try, or just comparing one brand against another brand to see which one they like better.
Great. Thank you, Helen, for coming on the show today and sharing all the great summer program activities that you're doing in school nutrition.
Thank you, Karen.
We want you to stay tuned for more NPS Now. Welcome back to NPS Now. With me now is Robert Kleinbell, Director of Transportation for Norfolk Public Schools. Welcome to NPS Now.
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me.
And I understand this is your first time coming on the show.
Yes, it is.
Tell me a little bit about you, Mr. Kleinbell. Where did you work before coming to Norfolk Public Schools?
Well, actually, I've worked for the City of Richmond Public Schools. I was there for 4 years. Then I was also with the Virginia Beach City Public Schools for 17 years.
Wow. So how long have you been working in transportation?
Over 25 years.
25 years.
Right. And in addition to that, I was also in the U.S. Army and the active in also the reserves in transportation as well. Had 30 years with that organization.
Why did you choose transportation as a career?
I don't know, it's just something that piqued my interest back when I was in college. It happened to see some displays one time on transportation, Army transportation, and it just kind of, you know, I said, piqued my interest, and so I pursued it.
So you worked in transportation in your military career?
Correct.
Okay, and then you brought those skill sets to the public sector.
Many of those same skills are in use today with, you know, although we're dealing with student transportation, but many of the same concepts and strategies, you know, still apply.
So how long have you been with us here in Norfolk Public Schools?
I've been with Norfolk now 4 years.
4 years. Well, great to have you, and thank you for coming on the show today.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's back to school time, and transportation plays a key role in back to school and our students. How are you preparing for the first day of school?
Well, it's an ongoing process with the transportation department. Of course, you know, we're getting the student information so we can find out where the students' addresses, you know, where they live, and then of course, you know, building the school bus routes is a very important part of our operation right now. And in addition to that, we're also getting our school bus drivers prepared. We're still in the process. We're hiring some new drivers, so we're in the process of training them. And then next week, we'll actually bring the drivers in, and they will actually review their routes that they're assigned. And then they'll also, in some cases, or most cases, we'll actually go out and drive those routes so they know, you know, where they're going, make sure that the traffic patterns are such that they can get through at the times that designated.
So how long does it take them to get acclimated to their bus routes?
Well, that's sort of an individual thing. For many of the drivers, we have a lot of experienced drivers, been with us a number of years. So they know the neighborhoods that they'll be operating in, so, and in many cases they know the students. So it won't take them quite as long. But the newer drivers, it takes them a little bit longer, probably a good day and a half to get familiar with the route itself. And then, of course, the first day of school as they start meeting the students and you know, learning their names and so forth. So it's for the newer drivers, it takes a little longer process for them, but you know, we would hope that at least by the end of the first week they've got a pretty good handle on that.
Yes, we want them to have a great handle on
Yes.
that. So the process is you'll find out who the students are, where they're located, and then you set up in the system the bus routes, and that's how you will go about picking up the students and dropping them off.
Correct. We have an automated routing system, which assists us greatly in that. Again, we identify, you know, where the student lives, and we look at, you know, in relation to the established bus stops that we have, and then if, you know, if that student can be assigned to that bus stop. In some cases, we have to revamp the routes, or because, you know, the shift in student population. So we will, let's say it's an ongoing process. We'll look at that. And you know, in some cases we may need to create a new stop if it's conducive to where the students are living. Or in some cases we find that we have bus stops that students are no longer serviced at that bus stop, so then we can eliminate those from that bus route.
So when will these bus schedules be available to our parents, and where can they find the information about the bus schedule?
Okay. Well, our plan is to have those available the week of August 25th, probably about midweek, to have those actually online on the NPS website. Under the, parents will look under the parent tab, and to the left side there should be another drop-down box that would indicate bus stop information. And if they click on that information, they should be able to go in there, put the grade of the child, and then also their home address, and should get the information that they're looking for there.
So they go online, put their address in, and it'll give them their bus information for their child.
Their address as well as the grade level of the student.
And grade level of the students.
Correct.
And then you can process that information.
Right.
Okay, so what are some other things that parents need to know that's dealing with transportation about their student?
Okay. Well, also I might go back to the bus schedule. A copy of the bus schedules will also be available at the individual schools. So if they check with the offices at each school, they should have that information as well by next week.
It takes a lot of work to prepare our bus drivers and to prepare, period, for transportation. How many bus drivers do we have in Norfolk Public Schools?
Well, currently we have 238 contracted bus driver positions. In addition to that, we have a handful of substitute bus drivers that are available to us. I think on the average about a dozen each day that are used. But let's just talk about the process of being a bus driver, just so the parents will be aware of that. You know, there is a training process involved with it. A bus driver must undergo a 24 hours of classroom training. In addition to that, they also must undergo 24 hours of behind-the-wheel training. They're actually out there on the roads with a certified bus trainer, and so they're actually running routes. In some cases, they're actually working with another driver, you know, assisting with their route just so they can get the experience of driving with a busload of students.
So that's a lot of hours of training, and so when they finish this training, they have what's called maybe a CDL license or a particular license to drive our buses?
Yes, when they do the classroom training, we're actually assisting them, preparing them so they could go to Department of Motor Vehicles and actually take the commercial driver's license test. And so they receive that, then they get a learner's permit, and that allows them to go out and do the behind-the-wheel training, where they actually, you know, physically are driving a bus in Norfolk City streets.
I'm just amazed at how many bus drivers we have and how many miles they travel. Just exactly how many miles per year do we provide transportation for our students?
We operate approximately 3 million miles each year on our buses, which averages about 10,000 miles per bus.
10,000 miles per bus. And you also not only just do school hours, but after hours and sporting activities, you all have transportation.
Yes, we do the home to school and school to home, which is a big part of our program. But in addition to that, we also support athletic programs, high school, middle school athletic programs, after-school activity programs. There's a lot of specialty programs. We actually do some things on weekends. We have a number of buses that operate on Saturdays, and during breaks and so forth. That there's always seems to be a lot of activities going on.
Yeah. Are you hiring?
Always for bus drivers.
So what's some information if they want to become a bus driver? What's a number or contact email address that you can share that they can contact you? If
Of course, they
want to
could
become
go
a bus
to
driver?
the Norfolk Public Schools website, and under jobs, there's a listing of the bus driver information that's required to be a bus driver. They can also contact Transportation Office, which is 892-3320. They can stop by our office. We're located at 5555 Raby Road, and they could pick up an application and complete it. And one of my staff members will review their application, make sure their qualifications are met, so they could proceed with the training.
Right. And just for some parents, if the bus doesn't come the first day of school, we hope that doesn't happen, but if there's any issues that they would have the first day of school, who would they contact?
Well, probably the best way to do it is they could contact the Transportation Office at 892-3320. But I would caution parents, especially the first couple of days of school, be aware that usually buses are running a little late, mostly because the drivers are getting accustomed to their routes, and also the students are getting accustomed to their bus stops, so they may be running a little late getting to the bus stops.
So we won't panic. We will be calm.
Well,
we will wait at that bus stop with our kids.
And we ask the students to be at the bus stops 5 minutes prior to their scheduled pickup time.
Okay.
So this, will assist with, sometimes again traffic patterns. It may be a little different. And again, so if the students are out there at least 5 minutes before their scheduled bus stop, and if it's a couple minutes after, don't panic.
Right.
The buses will be coming.
And if there's a problem, they can always call. Give us the number again.
Okay, the Transportation Office is 892-3320. And I'd also ask that if they would contact the schools at the offices if they have major concerns. So many times they can also assist in getting the answers that they need.
Great. Well, thank you. I think you're a wealth of information. Welcome to Norfolk Public Schools, even though you've been here 2 years, but folks got a chance to see who's in charge of transportation.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. And we'd like to thank you for watching NPS Now. It airs weekly on WNPS Channel 47, or you can view us online at www.npsk12.com. And if you have any great story ideas or information that you'd like to share with us, email us at npsnews@npsk12.com. Again, we want to thank you for watching NPS Now.